I'm in the Martin riding area with a group of riders from Rapid City, South Dakota. This is a good area to come if you want a taste of the Black Hills and see most kind of trails that are out here. It's located about 13 miles southwest of Custer, and if you happen to be staying in Custer, it's not a bad place. And if you want to drive down here from somewhere else, it's usually worth the trip. Stick with me, I'll tell you some more about this riding area, how to get here, and some of the trails I'll mention by number. So thanks for joining me on this one, and I hope you enjoy it.
Let's go to the map and take a look at the Martin riding area. As I mentioned, it's 13 miles southwest of Custer. The easiest way to get there is to go west on Highway 16 until you get to Pleasant Valley Road. That's this road here marked in purple. Go 7 miles south on Pleasant Valley Road until you reach the Bluebird Trailhead, and you can park and unload there. You can also park and unload up here at 3235, although it's not a designated parking area. Also, if you wish, you can camp there. Another way to get there is to go a little further out Highway 16 west from Custer until you get to Pass Creek Road. That's this road here. The Forest Service number on that is 273, but the sign up at the highway says Pass Creek Road. So you go south on that approximately 8 miles, and then you get Hawkwright parking area here, and you can park there. There's no place to camp close by. You could go out in this area here. It's kind of open if you want to do it. And it is open right around that as you go beyond the fence, but you can't go there in your vehicle. So if you have a tent or something, you could go there, but that's not really a great place to camp. All right, to keep in mind a few things, the trail 3200 here is the main trail through this area. I've got it marked in green. It's a loop trail, kind of, okay, right through there. And here I've got it green and red, but you can see that's where 3200 goes. It just makes a loop through the main area. It's probably the main trail. If you're parked in the Bluebird area here, to get to 3200, you can just follow 3400 out. And if you just keep those trails numbers in mind, you'll never get lost out in that area. Most of the trails you're going to find there are going to be open trails. By that I mean there's not a lot of tree cover, there's grassy lands and things like that. There is plenty of tree cover down in this area here, and in other places down in here there's tree cover, but in this area over here it's fairly open, and it's also open up in this area. Most of the trails on a difficulty scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the least difficult, 5 being the most difficult, virtually the entire area would rate as a 1. There's almost nothing out there that's very difficult, with the exception of these trails I have marked in red. Okay, 3202 coming down here is probably about a 2. It's not really very difficult. It winds through the trees, and it's pretty good. 3204 is probably about a 3 on the difficulty scale. Not by Black Hills standards, is not too bad, and it's worth taking because when you get up to this area right there, there's a great scenic overlook. You can see that. And then 3206, 3207, and then this section of 3200 goes through kind of a ridge line right across here, and those trails are again about a 2.5 to 3. They're not terribly difficult, but they're kind of fun. So there you have it on the map. There is one other trailhead down here called Richardson, and it's notable because it's very difficult to get to. You could take Pleasant Valley Road down here, follow this, you catch 276 and go up through there, or you could come in this way also on 276 and get to it, but there's not really a lot of point unless you come from Wyoming. Okay, that's a look at the map. This map again is available in the Black Hills Forest Maps page, U.S. Forest Service Black Hills Maps. So you Google that, it should bring it up. This video was made towards the end of March in 2018. We're riding with a group of riders from the Rapid City area of South Dakota. These are all local riders who are familiar with this area, and it was a good day to go out there. It was about 50 degrees, maybe 54, something like that, and sunny for most of the day. But this gives you a good idea what you can expect in the Martin area. To begin with, since it is a designated riding area, there's these cattle guard gates everywhere. They are only 62 inches wide, so if you got a Jeep or anything wider than 62 inches, you won't be able to get through. Much of the area is open, like these pictures that you're seeing now. Although there are some good treesy areas, and there's some areas with some rocky terrain, which we'll get to in a second. But mostly the riding is, or a lot of the riding, probably more than half of it, is on trails that look like this. They can be two-track and grassy. Some of them are muddy, some of them are rocky. They are very well marked, however, so you shouldn't get lost at all in that area. And it's a pretty easy place to get around if you're not familiar with the Black Hills. You just have to follow the Forest Service map and take a look at the map I talked about a little bit ago. At this point, we're getting ready to go up to the lookout area right along this trail. Again, you can see it's very well marked. This is probably the most difficult trail in the entire area, and I wouldn't even classify it as difficult. You do go up, you have to climb the hill for about a half mile to 3/4 of a mile, but and it's quite rocky and rough as you can see. But once you get up there, you have a commanding view in virtually all directions. I believe this might be the highest point in that particular riding area. But as you can see, you'll bounce around a little bit trying to get up there, but once you get up there, you got an outstanding view. This is out looking towards Wyoming, and then you get to come back down. As you move to the northern part, the trees become more dense, and in this case, with dense trees and protected areas, you're going to see, at least at this time of the year, we saw more snow and more mud. Just simply because it was somewhat higher elevation and in the shade. Had we gone, I think, a couple weeks after this, most of this mud would have been gone. Here we're going up one of the trails, and this is typical of what you'll find in some of the areas where the trails just definitely ATV, UTV trails. You could do it on a single track or two, but they kind of wind through the trees, and it's fun riding on trails like this if you have a chance. Like I said, the day we were out there, the snow in some places it was deep. Although this is a year-round area, if you were to go and try to do it in after a big snowstorm, you can run into snowdrifts that would be several feet deep. And again, they tend to accumulate in the valleys. Historically, from a historical perspective, there's not a lot to see there. There's no mines or cabins or anything like that. The scenery is mixed. If you like open scenery, that's good. If you like to see rocky cliffs and things like that, there's a few of those around, as you can see here. Not a lot, but it's the red sandstone area, so that's pretty much what you'll see. If you like this video, as always, please click the like button for us. Give us a little encouragement, and if you have any questions or comments, you can send an email to our dog Angie. I think you might have caught her in the video, or leave a comment in the comments section. But once again, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it.